What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. Alright, let's start off with an update from Blessing Iwodabu. So there's actually a lot to go over with Blessing right now. Blessing officially joined the 300-pound club, and he does look huge through the upper body right now especially. He has been on a warpath since his disappointing showing at the 2022 Olympia, so he's working harder than ever to prove to the fans that he has the potential to be a top-level Olympian. He actually revealed part of that strategy during an interview with Ron Harris at Muscular Development over the Arnold weekend. He said that he's actually planning on prepping himself for the foreseeable future. I guess with the help of a couple of friends to keep an eye on him. So, no more guru for Blessing. And we're seeing this from more and more pros in recent years, I think. You know, James Hollingshead, the Texas Oak, Logan Franklin, and now Blessing. So, how is this going to work for Blessing? Look, like I said, Blessing is huge right now, that's for sure. He's got great width from the back, it looks like he's grown everywhere, and you know, his side leg looks a lot bigger, but we really don't know how this is going to go until we see him on stage. Getting big is one thing, getting ripped is quite another. But you know, talk about being on stage, that's the other interesting update with Blessing that I found out. Blessing is planning on competing in 3 shows this year. He plans on doing the Chicago Pro, the Tampa Pro, and the Texas Pro. Now, Hunter Labrada is also doing Tampa and Texas in order for him to figure out his peak with his coach Ben Chow, and maybe that's part of why Blessing is going for this strategy. Now look, 20, 30 years ago, gurus were much less common than they are today. But you know, athletes also used to do multiple shows a year back then, you know, in multiple countries actually. It was commonplace for guys to do that. Now, how is this going to work for Blessing overall? Being his own guru, doing 3 shows? I mean, like I said, I'm just not sure. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit skeptical, and you know, I was definitely surprised to hear this stuff at first, that's for sure. But I'm also kind of intrigued, you know, maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe this is exactly what Blessing needs. Let me know in the comments section if you guys think this is a good move for Blessing. So, the first show on the schedule is the Chicago Pro on July 22nd. He said he'll start dieting down in about 6 weeks for that show, and we'll keep an eye on his progress. Alright, the next update I got for you guys is on none other than Mr. Classic Physique himself, Robert Timms. Now, when I saw this latest update from Robert, I mean, seriously you guys, just when you couldn't imagine this guy getting any more peeled, he drops an update like this. Like, people talk about next level conditioning, this is the definition of next level right here. But in his latest updates, I actually think he looks fuller than some of his previous updates. This is a guy that puts in the work every day, day in, day out. He doesn't take days off, he works 12-hour shifts at his day job in the tech field, and he's also a member of the military reserves, you know, and a classic physique competitor all at the same time, you know, a world-class competitor. And yes, of course, he's not perfect. The knock is on his legs, we all know that, but he is putting in the work there too. You know, his upper body is actually so insane that it almost makes up for the lack of legs just a little bit. Now that's all well and good for Instagram, but on the big stage, he's gotta have bigger wheels for sure. But he's working on it. You know, I always enjoy including a Robert Timms update. He's just so impressive, and he's still making progress. We know he's in prep mode right now, but he hasn't announced a show as of yet. As he always says, he doesn't say till he signs on the dotted line. So we'll see where he ends up competing. So Nick Walker joined Guy Cisternino on the latest episode of the Mutant and the Mouth podcast, and it's actually the first episode since the Arnold Classic. Nick talks about the process he went through leading up to the Arnold stage, you know, arriving in Ohio, the amount of food he had to eat, and it was a ridiculous amount of food. He talked about some stomach problems he had after prejudging, which apparently did not affect his outcome. I mean, his midsection was better at the Arnold, I think, than it was at the Olympia. But the most interesting thing that Nick had to say was what he thought immediately after they called him for second place.
So standing there, they come out, Andrew gets third, you're sitting there. What are you thinking?
I won.
So you were like, I got it. I got this.
I did. I was like, I got this in the bag.
And then they call Samson.
Well, they called me first for second.
Yeah. Well, you know what I
mean. When I heard that, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, because I'm with you when I think, you know, when there's a champ here, you got to take out the champ. Him out.
I said it last night on the other
podcast. I don't think, and listen, Samson looked incredible. Hats off to Samson, but he didn't take me out.
So now we know how Nick really feels about his placing, loud and clear. But that's the Nick Walker that we all came to really know and expect, to be honest. That's the champion mentality that Nick has always had. Absolutely relentless, confident, and look, he should be confident. He took third at the 2022 Olympia, second at the 2023 Arnold Classic. In fact, up till this point, Nick essentially did everything he said he was going to do when it came to placings at shows. But yeah, I could definitely understand being, a bit confused about what the judges want. The criteria has clearly changed, and with no iteration from the IFBB on these changes, except for these placings at the top level shows. But at this point, there's been some time since the Arnold, he's taken the feedback from the judges, and he's embracing his strong points. He's embracing the freak factor.
I get Samson has better shape than me, and that's fine. He's a lot taller. But my shape is there. Like, I have good shape. I do feel that the judging criteria is turning a little bit more toward the aesthetic feel. So I made that a priority. And I thought I succeeded very well. But if they want a Fuller, I can bring Full. That's fine.
And this is exactly what I think Nick should do. Of course, the judges are awarding aesthetics right now, but Bob Ciccarello himself said this on his latest Voice of Bodybuilding episode, speaking on behalf of the IFBB, and he was very specific about that, and again on his Instagram Live. Nick is a freak, and freaks can still win major titles. But the thing is, Nick bringing his best is playing to his strengths, and his strengths is out-conditioning everyone and out-muscling everyone. If he comes in bigger, fuller, more ripped, and keeps his waist in check, then Nick can win. Nick can be an Olympia contender, and he was worried about that. And I really do think that Nick can beat anyone out there. Some guys may have to come in either a little bit off or a bit less conditioned, but he can do it 100%. But yeah, look, that's my take on Nick. Embrace the freak factor. The drive is there, the physique is there. Him and Matt Jansen just need to put it all together. Anyway, this has been an ongoing conversation. You guys let me know down in the comments section. What do you guys think? Should Nick embrace the freak factor, or does Nick not have a chance against these more aesthetic guys? Anyway, that's it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning into EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.